Today, we are tackling the silent killer in the room. If you look at statistics, there are staggering over 77% of men that have experienced symptoms of severe anxiety, depression, or stress. Yet only 13% actually seek help. You see, we make up about 80% of suicides in this country, and right now, millions of men are secretly typing just like how to deal with anxiety and like why am I so angry into Google at 2 a.m. in the morning. You know why your families are asleep down the hall. We are living in an epidemic of silent suffering. And in this podcast today, we're going to talk about how we can dedicate to every man on who's hurting in isolation. The man who feels like he is carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. Wow. The man who thinks that talking about his pain makes him weak. See, I'm here to tell you that silence is not strength. Silence is killing you. Today we are focusing on the first pillar of the Built to Win blueprint, which is heal the man. We are going to break down the cost of emotional suppression, shatter the lie of self-sufficiency, and give you permission and the strategy to heal. Because if you want to lead, you want to build a legacy, you have to start by fixing the foundation. So from the time we are young boys, right, we are handed a specific set of instructions on how to be a man. They say, man up, push through, boys don't cry, rub some dirt on it. We are taught emotional suppression is the ultimate display of masculinity. We are led to believe that if we just bury pain deep down, it ceases to exist. But here's the hard truth. Buried pain never dies, it just mutates. When you refuse to process your emotions, you do not become a warrior. You become a ticking time bomb. Emotional suppression does not create strength. It creates defense. It creates a man who snaps at his wife for no reason. It creates a father who is physically present but emotionally million miles away. It creates broken relationships, shattered marriages, and it will lead you to live a life being on the defense. And the cost isn't just relational, right? It is physical. The body keeps score. When you bottle up stress, anxiety, and unresolved trauma, your body absorbs and that impacts chronic stress, which keeps your cortisol levels at a perpetual spike. Do you know what high cortisol does to the man? It takes your testosterone and it ruins your sleep, and it causes you to unpack this fat that is basically around your whole midsection. You might think you are being tough by ignoring your anxiety, but let me tell you, your biology is paying the bill. You are exhausted. Your drive is gone, your physical health is deteriorating, and you are trying to fix it with more caffeine and more grind. We have bought into the lie of self-sufficiency. We think that asking for help is a surrender. We think that needing another man to talk to means we have failed. I'm telling you, brother, that's not true. But the absolute self-sufficiency is destructive force. It isolates you. It convinces you that you are the only one struggling, which keeps you trapped in shame. You cannot outwork a broken foundation. You cannot out-earn emotional trauma. The longer you stay silent, the more collateral damage you create in your own life and in the lives of the people who depend on you as well. You see, we need a massive identity shift on just how we view healing. Society has painted healing as something soft, something passive, something you do sitting on a couch, talking about your feelings while someone nods, being in a more sympathetic way, right? But true healing is not soft. Healing is strategic. Healing is warfare. Healing is having a raw courage to look at the darkest, ugliest parts of yourself, the parts you have been running from for decades, and choosing to fix them. It takes a coward to run from his own mind. It takes a warrior to stand his ground, face his demons, and do the grueling work of reconstruction. I know this because I lived it. Years ago, I went through a divorce that completely leveled me. I was a man who prided himself on being strong, capable, and in control. But when my marriage collapsed, the illusion of control shattered with it. At first, I did what most men would do, right? I defaulted to the old programming. I tried to push through. I tried to work harder, and I tried to suppress the overwhelming grief, the anger, and the failure I felt, right? I thought if I just stayed busy enough, the pain would wouldn't catch me. But it did catch me. I was angry all the time. I was emotionally volatile. It was a shell of the leader I was supposed to be. I realized that my refusal to deal with my pain wasn't protecting me. It was destroying whatever was left in my life. My breakthrough came, though, when I finally admitted I was broken. I had to realize that acknowledging my pain wasn't a white flag, and I was surrendering, right? A surrender. It was the blueprint for rebuilding. I had to learn that the strongest men are not the ones who never get knocked down. The strongest men are the ones who heal their fractures and come back sharper, more resilient, and more dangerous to the enemy. You see, healing is the prerequisite for leadership. If you do not heal your own wounds, you will bleed on people who did not cut you. You will pass your unleashed trauma down to your children, but when you choose to heal, you will break generational curses. You will become the man who actually carries the weight of his family, his business, and his legacy. So how do we do this? You probably is wondering, right? We don't just talk about the problem. No, we actually are going to help you here at the academy, at the Built to Win Academy. So we're going to build a system to solve it. We're going to go by it brick by brick. And to heal the man, this is where we start. You need to lay down 3 specific bricks. This is your blueprint inside for taking your life of defense and getting back on the offense. So here's your brick 1. We are going to build an emotional language. You see, most men have the emotional vocabulary of a toddler. If you ask a man how he feels, he will give you a generic of one of the 3 answers. I'm fine, I'm angry, or I'm tired. And that's it. The entire spectrum, right? But anger is almost always a secondary emotion. It is the armor we wear to protect what is actually underneath, which is usually fear, shame, sadness, or feeling disrespected. You cannot fix a problem you cannot articulate. Intimacy, connection, and self-awareness all start with emotional clarity. You have to learn to name whatever it is that you're going through, right? When you feel that tightness in your chest, when you feel the rage building, you have to stop and ask yourself, why am I actually feeling right now how I'm feeling? Am I angry? Am I terrified that I'm failing as a provider? Am I frustrated, or am I deeply lonely? You see, building an emotional language gives you control over your emotions rather than letting your emotions control you. Let's go to brick number 2, right? We're going to address the body. You cannot separate the mind from the physical vessel. It lives in. And as the saying goes, the body keeps the score. If you want to heal the man, you have to optimize the machine. So this brings us to what I like to call the foundational 4. They are your non-negotiable, right? Your physical standards. At first, you have to get adequate sleep. Sleep is not a luxury, it is a biological necessity for emotional regulations and to build up your testosterone levels for production, right? So stop saying up till 1 a.m. scrolling on your phone to numb out and to fall asleep. Okay? Second, we're going to do daily movement. You need to sweat. You need to lift heavy things. Physical exertion process stress out of your nervous system. I'm telling you, it works. And then third, we're going to cut the alcohol. Alcohol is a depressant. It is the most common tool men use to numb out their emotional pain, but it acts like pouring gasoline on a fire of anxiety and depression. So stop self-meditating. And then number 4, right, we're going to get your blood work done. Stop guessing about your health. Men, it's time to take charge of our health. Check your levels, check your vitamin D, get the data on your biology, right, so that you can fix the physical deficiencies that are dragging you down mentally. So here's the myth, right? This is the hardest brick for most men to lay. You have to kill the ego that tells you that you must do this alone. Look at your elite performers in the world. The retired Tom Brady, listen, he had a coach. Michael Jordan had a coach. Even in the Army, when you look at special forces operators, they rely entirely on the men to their left and right. Yet the average guy thinks he's supposed to navigate the most complex emotional and relational challenges of his life completely solo. It is arrogant and it is stupid to believe that. You need to find at least one person to share your burdens with. It could be a therapist, a mentor, a pastor, even a trusted brother or a family member, right? The spaces where you have to perform, where you can take off the armor and where you can say, I am struggling and I also need help. Vulnerability with trusted men is not weakness. It is the ultimate flex of security that you can actually have, and it shows that you are strong enough to admit where you are wrong and where you are weak, so you can actually get stronger. Now listen, gentlemen, it's time to stop running. It's time to stop hiding behind your work, behind your anger, and behind the lie that you are fine. I am calling you up to a higher standard, my brother. Healing is the beginning of true strength. It is the foundation of leadership your family is desperately craving from you. Your wife doesn't need a reboot who pays the bills. A robot, who pays the bills. But she needs the whole present, man. Your kids doesn't need a statue. They need a father who can navigate them through the storms of life, because they're going to reach storms as well, and they need your emotional resiliency. Listen, brother, you are built to win, but you cannot win if you are bleeding out eternally. So here are some steps I want you to take as you get ready to leave, right? I want you to take some accountability actions for this week. I want you to call and I want you to check in for the next 30 days. I want you to take a notebook and put it by your bed. Every single night before you go to sleep, you are going to write down one sentence, just one. The sentence is this: today I felt blank, fill it in, because blank, fill it in. That's it. Today I felt overwhelmed because the pressure at work is suffocating. That's your example. Today I felt proud because I handled a conflict well. Today I felt lonely because I haven't talked to a real friend in weeks. Fill in the blanks, write it down, and over the next 30 days, let's go back and let's articulate it, right? The emotion, the identity, the cause. And with this daily practice, right, you'll start to build emotional language, and it will pull the hidden things out of the dark and into the light, where you can deal with them. See, stop suffering in silence and start the work. Heal the man. Keep building brick by brick. And I'll see you on the next video, my brother.